Welcome into today's podcast right here at the Cog Hill 40. Peaches wouldn't let Nugget into the canned ham for this episode, so here's Jason and Brooke. Johnny Carson didn't have nothing on these folks.
What is going on, Cog Squad? This is another episode of the cogcast podcast coming at you from the canned ham over at the Cog Hill 40. And it is a cold 40.
It is.
Here.
And we don't have any crazy hats on.
No.
No special.
No snuggies.
No special dates coming up or anything like that.
No holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah, got Valentine's Day coming up, I guess. We could dress in Valentine attire.
No.
Yeah, that'll be our theme every time there's a holiday.
Well, you know what I noticed the last time I was in Walmart is they were taking the Christmas stuff down.
Yeah.
I think it was like the day after Christmas.
Uh-huh.
Marycarl and I had to pick something up. And probably groceries. They were putting St. Patrick's Day stuff up.
That's in March.
But they weren't putting Valentine's stuff up. It didn't make sense to me.
That's
but
odd.
I thought it was too.
That's
because
odd.
since then I've been thinking maybe St. Patrick's Day got moved and I didn't know about it.
Didn't know about it? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
But I don't think that's the case.
When's Groundhog's Day? That's in April.
It's
isn't it?
February.
That's in February.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean,
April.
we don't
What am I
celebrate Groundhog's Day.
No, we don't.
We celebrate Valentine's, which is in February, and then I'm telling you, it was green everywhere.
That's interesting.
I wondered why. But I knew nobody that worked there could tell me, so I didn't.
You didn't ask.
I didn't
They're
ask.
doing what they was told to do.
I mean, you know, that's a definite. They were just following the rules.
Following orders.
Yep. So who knows? But
Who knows?
we're kind of back to,
Back to regular,
semi-normal, regular old days, but it's cold. It is
cold here.
The same shirt I had on at the last podcast I have on today. My thermals.
The one that the fan sent you.
Yes. I have on the pants.
Oh.
I have on some socks that Miss Patricia Bickford sent me.
Oh.
Alabama socks, and they come up to like my knees.
But I told you those will keep you really warm.
I'm feeling warm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling really warm.
Well, good.
I might have to cut the heat down some.
You may go ahead and cut it to the one on the right to the halfway up.
That would make 3 shirts with my jacket and 2 pair of pants. And I wonder
what the
temperature is.
I don't know.
48.
I think it's cooler than 48.
It feels
it's probably
cooler.
45. Like that's a big difference. That's a big difference. Did you cut it halfway? The one on the right?
Well, I cut it on low and halfway.
Okay, good.
So I feel like we're about to get burned out.
It is. It gets hot in this little camper quick. This little thing gets warm.
Well, this morning you were editing a video and you came out here and you said, I'm going to turn the heat on and then I'll come back in and wait on it to get warm because that little camper gets really cold. And it does.
It does.
Even though, it gets really warm fast, it gets really cold. So you came in and literally poured a cup of coffee and went right back out because you knew it was going to be warm.
I knew it was going to be warm.
It'll run you out.
It will run you out.
And we're just using a little tiny heater.
Oh, yeah. It's a little...
It's tiny.
Where'd you get that thing from?
Well, I bought it at the Goodwill.
That's what I thought. I was thinking it come from the Goodwill.
Many moons ago. Many moons ago.
It's sure working. It's perfect for in here.
I love the Goodwill, and I'm kind of feeling deprived.
Oh, that's because where we are now doesn't have a Goodwill.
And I didn't research that before we moved here, and I should have.
You may want to change your mind.
I drove around with these things that we decided to get rid of when we lived at the Little Cog.
Yeah.
Thinking that there was a Goodwill here.
Mm-hmm.
And I Googled and I searched. And I even went to a couple of addresses that Google told me, and there was nothing there.
I think there was one here at one time.
Maybe.
That's what I'm thinking.
I got kind of frustrated, and finally I found a place that took donations, but I haven't went in there and shopped yet.
Yeah.
But Marycarl's been with me several occasions when we've dropped off things, and one day we're going to make time to go shop because she and I both love a good find, a good bargain.
Y'all do.
We do.
I like going too. I just really didn't have a chance to go when, where we previously because I was working the full-time job and And so I just never had a chance to go. But I like looking at old records. I love old records. That's something that I'll get caught up in. And I've found so many old. I love, somebody asked what kind of music I liked a while back, and I didn't get into it too deep, but I love the 30s, the 20s, 30s, and 40s eras of jazz and the big bands. And I racked up one day at the Goodwill. Do you remember?
I was there first, and I called you.
You did call me.
I called you from the Goodwill because it was obviously somebody's whole collection. And I'm telling him what they had, and he's like, well, look, I'm just going to see what we got going on here at the shop, and I'm going to run down there. And I couldn't believe it, because that's just something that really has to interest Jason in order for him to stop what he's doing and go somewhere.
Yeah.
And he came, and he stacked up.
I did.
Or is it racked up?
Racked up. I racked up on some big band and jazz records from it was a collection from the 20s all the way to the 40s. I don't know how many records it is, and I love it. I got a record player, and I love it. And my mom has recently said that she was going to give me, what is it called? I don't want to say it wrong, but it's the old timey one that you crank up. It's not electric, and it's got the big needle and the big
where you can hear all that
megaphone
creaking
coming at
and
it.
stuff.
Yes, and she's got one of those that works, but needs a little bit of work to it, but it does work. And she has some records left over from my grandma. This was my grandma's.
Well, does it take a different kind of record than what?
Yeah, it's a thicker record, and it's a
thinking.
different speed. So
how do you find those style records?
Oh, Goodwill, eBay. You can find them on eBay, but she's got a bunch of them, and they're old jazz, and that big band era. I just love it. It's just so romantic. I just love that era. Just love that time, and I love that music.
Opposites attract.
Yeah. But then I could go on a kick and listen to classic rock and Led Zeppelin and Rush and ZZ Top this entire week. So
Still opposites attract.
And next week I can listen to Beethoven and Mozart all week.
See, none of that is me. None of it. Not one thing you said interests me.
I just love all types of music. I just love it all. Except that I guess this is how you can tell you're getting older, is I don't get the new stuff. I just don't. I do not.
Yep,
the
that's
new pop,
how you know you're getting older.
The new hip hop, the new pop, the new country. The new jazz, I just don't get it. But I guess that's how you know. I guess, our parents were the same way. They're like, I don't want to like your music.
Oh, goodness. I can remember when we were teenagers, I would leave a CD or something in my CD player, and if my daddy or mama had to move my car for whatever reason.
What are you listening to?
They were like, you need to change your music.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess that's everybody. I guess everybody goes through that, but.
Well, we had company this week. We had a special guest come and stay in the camper.
You know what? We had company twice this week.
Well, she didn't spend the night.
No, she didn't spend the night, though.
The first one was an unplanned spend-the-night guest.
Unplanned spend-the-night guest.
Marycarl's little friend Piper
Mm-hmm.
they've been talking about her coming here, and we just finally got together to where both of our schedules worked, because it is an hour for me to go over there and pick her up and come back, and I don't mind going to get her anytime she wants to come. I make sure she can come. So I drive over and I pick Piper up at her house and bring her back to the 40, and the plan was that I would meet her mama later that afternoon or night. It usually goes into night, and take her back. Well, we didn't even talk about Piper spending the night. But as the day went on and they were having more and more fun.
They were having a great time.
They decided that Piper should spend the night.
Yep.
Well, I was just like, okay, sure. I don't care.
Right.
I mean, she can spend the night. So before I batted my eyes and went into the camper, they had already had Piper abed fixed. So I think this may have been pre-planned. They just knew I was going to say yes, because who could say no to those sweet girls?
Right.
And they had the bed laid out. They had Piper's pillows. They had Piper's covers. And they were like, look, Mom, I can sleep here, and Piper can sleep here. And I said, okay, that's fine. As long as Katie doesn't care, then I sure don't care. And we had our first spend the night guest.
We did, and it went very well, and they had a good time.
They did.
They're really good time.
So two of a kind, and get along so well, and it worked out.
It
didn't
did work
hear a
out.
peep out of them
And
all
then,
night.
And then Piper is she's been around cows way more than we ever even thought about. I mean, just her granddaddy is a cattle farmer and has cows and always has cows, and she helps out with the cows. And,
cows out the yin-yang.
Yeah. And she put that halter on Mildred like it wasn't nobody's business.
I said, girls, would y'all like to go out and feed Mildred this morning? Piper's like, sure. So she grabs the bottle and heads out the door before Marycarl got her shoes on. And she's like, come on, Marycarl. She was already at the gate ready to feed her. And I said, look, Mildred's halter is in that barrel right there. If y'all want to try to get it on her, have at it. I said, if you need me, holler. Well, I heard nothing. I heard the door open, and I looked out there, and there's hot pink on Mildred. And I'm like, who put the halter on her? And Piper said, I did.
Yeah, I did.
I did.
Yep.
But what made me think about Piper spending the night was music.
Oh, the music, because
Yes.
Piper loves music.
Piper is just not your typical child.
And loves like
She
the
watches-
older country music, like I like Alabama and
Well-
George Strait and George Jones, and that's the kind of music Piper likes to listen
You
to.
know, like just a swinging.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You know,
She likes that older
Charlene,
country music.
She knows
Reba
all
McEntire,
the words.
she
Dolly
does.
Parton.
Dolly Parton.
She knows, and I think it must come from her parents.
I'm sure it does.
Because it just amazes me. She watches Andy Griffith. She knows all of these old TV shows that are,
She does.
you know, that just make our heart happy to
Yep.
to think about the things that we grew up watching. Even though it wasn't our era, we still enjoyed
We
watching
still
it.
enjoyed watching it.
And for her to want to watch it,
Yeah.
it's just, I mean, she watches The Little Rascals.
Yeah. A lot of that she's got an old soul. She really does.
And I'll hear her talking to Marycarl, you know, in that movie such and such, and it'll be something really old.
really old.
And Marycarl's like, And
Or music.
it's just, it's over her head because she does, you know, when you're not exposed to
Yeah.
things like that, it's
Well,
not.
the music thing is because, well, you and her are the same when it comes to music. I love music. I got if it was up to me, I would put my iPods in my ear or headphones.
You wouldn't put your iPods,
What are they called?
earpods.
Earpods or headphones, and I would listen to music all day long.
There are times when I will yell out the door to tell Jason something, and he doesn't turn around,
don't.
and I just say, forget it, because I know he's got his
Got my
earpods in, and he can't hear me.
But
look,
you, on the other hand, and Marycarl, y'all could care less if the radio ever comes on.
We don't care. We
Y'all
talk.
could care less, you know. But I just love music and always have. And you know what? That even reminds me. And it shows in my videos
what?
that I love music, because I always got, and here recently that I've really honed in on the music here recently, but I've always added music always from day one. My
And
videos
everybody
have
else doesn't
always
do
had
that,
music.
do they?
A lot of people don't, yeah. And to get good music for it, you have to pay for it, and it's not cheap most of the time. So,
But it makes your videos
it does
better.
make your videos better.
Well, I can tell you that people are enjoying the music simply because I read the comments and
Yeah.
I see so many times where people say, what's the name of that song you're playing? Well, for you to figure that out, you'd have to go to a lot of trouble.
Well, what I need to do is when I edit a video, I need to write down all the
Yeah.
music that I put in.
that would be a
new.
good
But
thing.
typically, I don't know if you can really get that music. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I know what you
don't,
mean.
because I have to pay for it, and it's from a site.
So you don't
that's
know
a
if
pay
it's available
site.
for...
So I really don't know if it's available for the general. I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
You would
I
hate
don't
to
know.
put it out there and then not be able to find it.
Yeah, not be able to find it. I don't know if you can find it on Spotify. I mean, listening to it versus using it in a video is two totally different
Yeah,
things.
exactly.
So maybe you can find it. I'll try to do a lot better about putting the artist in the title in the videos.
Well, the night that Piper spent the night, isn't that when it was when I came out here and sat with you?
Yes, it is. You came here
Okay,
and sat with me.
So the girls were kind of playing in the camper, and I didn't want them to feel like I was hover mom sitting right there over the
Right.
top of them. So I said, look, girls, if y'all are okay, I'm going to step outside and just sit with Jason because he's editing a video. So I came out here and sat, and I was just mind-boggled by all that you do to make a video work.
Yeah, you've never even seen.
Oh, I sat
anything.
here with my mouth wide open, but I didn't say anything because I knew you were concentrating, and you were flipping through songs, and you were.
I was flipping
you were,
through songs.
Jason talks to himself, so he was like, "No, that's too fast.
I
That's
do.
it. That's it." And he, he just he went on like I wasn't here, but I'm sitting over here like, what's wrong with that one? Like, why did you bypass the first 52 to get to number 53?
Yeah, I don't know. I get something in my mind.
I know,
Yeah.
but it just made me. I talked about it in the last video, how many times that you just, I don't know, you just go a little too far. In my opinion, I would have stopped at number
Yeah.
5, not number 55. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're
to make
saying.
it work,
I know
but
what you're
you
saying.
want it the way you want it,
Right. I want it the way I want it.
and there is nothing wrong with that. It's just in my mind, I
And
couldn't do that.
I've always said that I'm not a perfectionist because I always think about doing like carpentry work or tile work or that kind of thing.
You're getting more and more,
I'm not a perfectionist when it comes to that stuff.
but you are getting more.
But when I'm editing videos, I kind of get that way a little bit. And I used to be way worse than I am now. So, but I'm a lot better at editing now than I was then too.
Wow.
But yeah, I enjoyed editing videos and I enjoyed the whole process of it all. So, and I'm anxious. I think Monday is when my film school starts. When I start taking some film school classes, just to make the craft even better. I'm hoping, anyways.
Well, I will say that you were at your automotive job for 22 years.
22 years
At
one place.
At one place.
That's all I've ever done.
And I hate to say this, but I feel like that time was wasted for you because you are so good at editing.
Well, I didn't, and I think there's a lot of people out there that are like that. You don't know what you truly
I
love.
don't know what I would want to do.
doing.
If I had to start over and I had
Yeah.
to go to school and focus on one thing.
Yeah.
I told Mama this the other day. I said, I am 45, about to be 46 years old, and I still couldn't tell you. I know I'm passionate about animals, but I still don't know what I would go to school. The school that I attended was much like every other school in the country, and you did not know what was offered.
Yeah.
You were expected to take the ACT test.
That's right.
You were expected to do well in order to get into college,
Mhm.
but you were also expected to have some knowledge of what you wanted to do when you graduated.
Yeah, it seems like that, and I don't know, and it seems
And I
like
didn't
everybody's
know.
always, it's just, I don't know, it's I don't know, it just, and don't get me wrong, there's people that love, that whatever came out of that, and they got a great life and everything's fine, but to me it just seems like that they just, like, everything's kind of narrow-minded and there's blinders up and we have to go this one path, and we don't get exposed. That's what we don't get. We don't get exposed to a lot of things
To real life
that we may love.
Exactly.
That we may love. So I don't know. Don't know how we got off on that, but
I don't either. I was just trying to figure that out.
talking about guests, we did have another guest come over the next day. Piper was still there. She spent the night. Next day, another guest come over.
But they didn't spend the night.
They didn't spend the night. But that was Tracy from Just Dickett Farm, and she lives close by. I guess, how far is Tracy? 30 minutes?
Yeah,
So,
probably about 20 miles.
20 miles. She is, oh gosh.
She's a walk-in encyclopedia.
She is. She worked at Petals from the Past, who y'all know is our favorite nursery, and she worked there forever, and she's got so much knowledge. But her thing to me is she is great at design. She is a professional. That's what I want to call her. I want to call her a professional garden designer.
She is a professional.
Because she's a designer. I mean, that's exactly what it is, except it's in a garden. And I don't know, she's just awesome. She came over and looked at our fruit orchard, and I mentioned it in the last video, but we got to redo everything. Luckily, we hadn't really done much in there, but we got to redo it. She wants us to change up the way that we're going to plant things, and we're going to put everything on berms, which a berm is basically, just think of a raised bed without the sides. It's just a little hill. We're going to plant the trees on it, and it's going to help with erosion and watering the trees, and so it'll look better. It'll be more efficient. Mm-hmm. And so that's what we're going to do. And she wants us to go this way instead of this way. And
we talked to Jason at Petals from the Past about this, but he wasn't here to visually see.
He couldn't visually see it.
So we're telling him, that our hills going north to south, and in reality, our hills go both ways. Mm-hmm. And so when Tracy came, she was able to visually see that and say, hey, you do have hills going both directions, but for efficiency, it would probably be better, since you don't have a whole lot planted, and we would like to plant a whole lot, let's go ahead and change it now.
And I had read previously, and I had that a fruit orchard on a slope was actually a good thing. And, and I was thinking, you ever think back like in Napa Valley where they grow the grapes for the wines? They sound like those are always on a slope.
Yeah.
But she said the same thing. She said our spot that we picked out was absolutely perfect. It's got tons of sun. I got the hiccups.
Oh, my goodness.
Tons of sun. It's got that gentle slope. She said it was perfect.
And it's got almost like a, I don't know what you call that little
It's got a terrace. Mm-hmm.
That's natural at the beginning of the fruit orchard to where any, runoff of water would be slowed down, and so it would get gentler as it went downhill.
Well, you can see we've had a ton of rain.
It's not affected at all.
And this really hasn't affected that area at all. And you got the house site, and you got the rain coming down from the side of it too. So, it's she that made me feel really good that we had actually, because, at some point I thought maybe we ought not plant it here after we already said it. And I was like, maybe I made a mistake, but no, not at all.
When we first started cleaning off that area, we didn't see any potential you couldn't see the potential because it was so much privet and so much overgrowth that when Greg got in there and started working and made it, kind of the side of the house site, we were able to visually see that, hey, maybe we could make this our fruit orchard. And so I took my mom over there one day. We were just walking around, and I said, and this is where our fruit orchard will be. Brooke, you can't make a fruit orchard over here. And I said, why not? And she said, because it's on a hill.
It's on the hill.
And so, your mind says that a hill is not a good place to plant. And it's not like it's a hill like straight down. It's just a gentle hill.
Yeah, it's not a bad hill, but it is a hill.
But when Tracy looked at it, Tracy was like, I am jealous because this is the perfect planting.
And their fruit orchard's flat. So, I mean.
Yeah, but she said it's just the lay of the land.
Yeah, it's just the lay of the land. Right.
But she wished she had the gentle slope.
And I was like, oh, man, that made me feel so good.
Yeah, it did.
Really made me feel good.
Because I had, we kind of felt like that's what we were dealt.
Right.
And we were going to run with it.
Right.
But then when she said, this is perfect, this is exactly what you want, it made me feel like this is why we were dealt this.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I was so happy when she said that. And she has given us ideas on what to do. I showed her where I wanted to put the potager garden, our kitchen garden, behind the house, and she said that was perfect area back there, and she kind of explained it. And this is what she said when it comes to design and when it comes to your garden. She said, think about the pathways first and how they flow, and then worry about your garden.
I did a lot of talking to her husband, Gene, while Jason was talking to Tracy, so there's some things that I know that I talked to Tracy about and that he knows. And so I didn't hear that part. So that's interesting.
Yep. She said your flow. And she was saying that it was going to flow this way, out the back. And then she was telling me where to put arches. And then she said, that it was going to flow. you heard her talking about it, but I don't think you knew what she meant. But she was going to say that the garden goes behind our house on out into the fruit orchard. And that's when she said you would walk down and we'd have the pathway going down the hill and have musky dimes on one side and kiwis on the other.
I do remember that part.
And that was coming out of the backyard.
And that's all I heard.
Yep. So yeah, she I'm super excited to have a friend like that.
That's the kind of friend you want.
That I can pick her brain.
But y'all check out her YouTube channel.
Yes.
It is called Just Dig It.
Just Dig It Farms, and
she should have 500,000 subscribers because she is so knowledgeable.
And when you see her garden, you'll see what we're talking about. Her potager garden is just gorgeous. It's something that should be in a magazine. It's just absolutely gorgeous.
And she's very like us. They're just normal, everyday people.
That's right.
And they're just wanting to provide for their family with growing their own vegetables and doing the right thing.
Doing the right thing. Speaking of her working at Petals, she had asked me this, and I thought it was a great idea. Petals has an event in April. It's actually on April 23rd. It's on a Saturday. It's called Antique in the Gardens, and it's a big event there. They'll have antiques set up, and they'll have booths set up, and vendors. But it's really, really cool because Petals is awesome in itself, just going over there. But then to have the antiques set up and the whole event going on. Anyways, we are going to have a meet and greet on that day, April 23rd, Saturday. It'll be us, Cog Hill Farm. I know it's going to be Tracy from Just Dig It. I think Wes and Angie from The Naked Hog is coming. Cattywampus Acres,
Jason and Lauren,
they may come. And there may be another one, but don't know that one yet, so I don't want to mention it. But anyways, we will be there unless something crazy happens. Anything can happen, but I just want to put that out there, guys. If you want to come meet us, we will be at Petals on April 23rd. When it gets closer, I'll give you guys a time.
I was amazed when we moved here at how close it is to us. So
oh my gracious!
I mean, it's like if the event starts at 12:30, we can leave here at 12 o'clock, and we'll be on time.
We'll be on time. They have classes all the time. It's just a great place.
Jason told me today. He said, I signed up for that fruit tree class that Petals is offering January the 15th.
Yes.
And I said, yeah, I remember. We were talking about the
Small
date
fruit
because
class,
I forgot. And Tracy's going as well. Well,
Tracy's
why in the world would Tracy need to go when she's so knowledgeable? But she said that you can never get enough information from Dr. Powell, who is Jason at Petals from the Past father. He is just I don't even know what the word is.
As knowledgeable as Tracy is.
Exactly.
She said that she doesn't know a fifth of what that man knows.
And that's just mind-boggling.
That is very mind-boggling.
But she says that anytime there is something offered and Dr. Powell is speaking, that she will be there.
That's right.
And it's sold out, so I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, it is sold out. Matter of fact, I got the last ticket.
And I thought that might be like a little, last one, grab it up. And she said, no, it's legit. She said, like, as soon as they announce them, they fill up.
Yeah, and they can only seat so many people, so...
Yeah, plus, it's just a crazy time, so I'm sure they're limiting the number of people.
That's true, too. I didn't think about that.
I was going to say that while Tracy and Jean came, Jason's talking to Jean. I'm sorry, I had a little itch.
That's okay.
Jason and Jean were conversing, and I grabbed Tracy, and I took her up to our entrance of our property, and I told y'all before that from the outside right now, you can just visually see everything. And we just want to kind of break that up a little bit. And so I said, Tracy, what do you think you would do here? Because we have our gate that I bought on Facebook Marketplace before we ever moved here, that's been sitting, waiting on somebody to install it, which should be happening next week.
Oh, fingers crossed.
Last podcast, I got a text from him, remember? And I answered him afterwards.
But we don't have power there yet. So
no, we don't have power there yet. But next week is supposed to be the install. And so I'm already thinking about some landscaping up there because that's our entrance. And right now it's just gravel.
It's
not pretty at all.
It's not pretty at all.
It's a eyesore, for lack of other way to say it.
It is.
There's some fencing up there that we want to replace, and so I said, Tracy, what do you think? Do you think we ought to come in straight with the split rail fence, or come at an angle, just like that, without even thinking?
Angle.
Come in at an angle and maybe put you a base, evergreen here, and she's like, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, I mean, that's just how she sees things.
Yeah,
her mind doesn't. I would have to sit there for 2 hours and draw it out on paper, and she's just spitting it off as to what we need to do. And oh my gracious, it was so just wonderful to feel like I had an answer. And I told her, I said, look, as knowledgeable as you are, I think you ought to start like a Q&A kind of thing where viewers can ask questions.
I think so.
And we're going to work with her maybe and do a podcast soon.
Yeah,
and
try to get her on the podcast. Be
just
my
show
first
y'all.
guest. Be our first guest.
Show y'all how
knowledgeable she is.
I don't want to say smart because, I mean, there's a lot of smart people, but this lady is just truly knowledgeable about plants, and she's passionate about it, and it just makes all the difference when
you're passionate and love it.
When you're passionate, because that is what she loves.
It is. Absolutely.
Not to say we don't love plants and passionate about it, but what we're passionate about sitting out there in that pasture, our animals, and providing good homes and making sure they're fed and watered. And
I love gardening. It's just we
hadn't had the space.
We haven't had the space. And garden design is, I'm not good.
You are good at it.
I'm good at it, but it evolves.
Yeah,
it's not something that I can just visualize, plan it out on some paper, look at it, and then plan it, and it'll be perfect from the get-go. It's not going to be like that with me. It's going to be, I'm going to add a little bit something here, then next year I'm going to move that, add something here, and it just evolves.
What you're good at is adding to something to make it improve.
Versus
that
base. That base is what I'm really hard at. Getting that base foundation down. And that's where Tracy's going to help me big time.
Tracy might have to set up camp here for a little bit.
Well, we got a camper and a tiny house.
Well, we're living in it, though.
I'm talking about after we get our house built.
Yeah. She and Jean can come make themselves at home and help us out for a few months.
My gracious. I'm getting excited about the garden. I need to sit down and look at seeds.
We've got so much we need to do, and I need to sit down
and look at seeds.
I just, I hate to put things off, but we're notorious for doing that.
Yeah, because we got so much going on that something gets put on the back burner, and that would be one thing is seeds. I don't have anywhere to start them.
No.
So I don't know. Maybe I just direct seed a lot of stuff. I have to look.
I don't think that we need to even. I think that I don't know. We don't talk about that on the podcast. It'd take too much thinking.
But I will say this: I do have a new promo code for Hoss. I got all that straightened out, and it is Cog Squad 22, all one word. And if you do use our link and our promo code, and it's in every video, if you hit show more in the video description, it's down there. Or it will be on our website once we get all that. And it's getting close. Website's getting close. But anyways, I've seen it. Anyways, the new promo code is Cog Squad 22. And this year, you're going to get a free pack of Mountain Vineyard tomato seed, and that is a seed that is kind of hard to get. It is a grape tomato. It is extremely productive. It is super disease resistant. It is super insect resistant, and it is delicious, and it produces like crazy, and it typically is an expensive
I was
tomato
thinking that.
seed.
Isn't that the expensive tomato?
That's the one. Last year when we got it, it had 10 seeds in the pack. Usually when you get tomato seeds, you'll get 30. This one had 10, and it was more than the ones you get 30 from.
Isn't that the one that Paul raved about?
Paul, yep, Paul loved it. This is the one that Greg told me that it came in with that bag of seed. It was like this big, and I forget how many thousands of dollars it was because they're so expensive.
He put that one in a vault, didn't he?
He did put it in the vault. So Mountain Vineyard should be that's we got that squared away.
Now, see, we were talking about it, and we were trying to figure out what would be the best seed to give away.
We did talk about
but
what
you
best
didn't
seed
tell
is.
me Mountain Vineyard when we were discussing
Mountain
that.
Vineyard was the tomato.
Had you told me that, I would have said
Mountain
tomato,
Vineyard, you would have
hands
said
down.
tomato. I was kind of torn because I've done Bella Rosa. That was been one of our favorite tomatoes, and I've done that 2 years in a row for the spring and summer, and in the fall I've done collard greens for the free seeds and Bella Rosa. And so I was like, we've done Bella Rosas, 2 years in a row. Actually, I've done Bella Rosas twice, and I've done squash one time. Last year was squash. I just
What'd
now
you do,
remember
patty
that.
pan?
No, I did that Golden Delight. It was Golden Delight zucchini. Sorry,
Okay.
because we like that so much.
Well, y'all will not be disappointed in these Mountain Vineyard
You won't.
tomatoes.
They're easy to grow. They are prolific. If you do use our link and our promo code COGSquad22, that should get you a free pack of Mountain Vineyard seeds. Now, you can only use it one time per season. I have to get with Wes and make sure of that, but I think that's right. I think, once we change the seed up, when fall comes, they reset it and you can reuse the code again. So, but
Gotcha.
you can't make like 15 orders and get 15 packs of seeds.
Oh, well, that's only fair, I guess.
That I guess only fair, I guess.
All right, what else we got going on?
Another thing was I want to let people know, because I saw this come up a lot about the gift opening. There were some Christmas gifts that did come in late, and we are planning on to do another opening, but we need to wait until we get enough gifts to make one, and we're getting kind of close.
Yeah.
I think the next trip you go to the post office, we'll probably have enough to do a gift opening.
We will see.
And
we will sure see.
And there are some Christmas presents that did come in late over there, so you guys that have been asking, yes, on
And
that.
Marycarl has received numerous birthday cards.
She has.
Some of them, like I said last time, I've had a gift card in them, maybe a little money, and she appreciates every little bit of delight that she gets. I mean, she loves to open cards, and so she just gets a smile on her face no matter what.
And then that reminded me, I got a message from Jason from Pedals from the Past, and he said that we had another gift card at Pedals.
That's
for
awesome.
us.
That's
Yes.
going to help us so much with our planning.
With the fruit trees.
With the fruit
Yes.
trees. And we have a load. Some people were saying, I thought y'all would have planted more initially.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, they didn't have a lot because COVID has just messed everything
COVID, and this
up.
is a time to plant fruit trees, so yeah, they're popular.
So they were saying,
Mhm.
January is when he'll get his second shipment
That's
of
right.
fruit trees in.
Mhm.
And we've got a lot of things we want to plant, but we can't go out and just plant the whole fruit orchard at one time.
Plus, he wanted to make sure that I got trees that are beginner trees, if that makes any sense. He did not want to. Stone fruits are hard to grow here, and that's peaches, that's nectarines, that's plums. It's got the big seed in it. That's why they're called stone fruit. And so those are kind of hard. Those are your intermediate level gardeners, and I'm not there yet when it comes to fruit trees. So that's why he gave me apples that grow well here, the pears that grow well here, and of course figs. Figs are almost if you get a fig in the right spot, it is almost bulletproof. You don't have to do anything to it. Nothing.
But we do want to plant our blueberries, our
blackberries,
our kiwis,
those
things we want,
muscadines,
and that's going to take a lot of plants. So a gift card to Pedals is awesome. We had a big week this week. Y'all won't believe what happened. You will not believe what happened. I haven't had a bath since October.
Oh,
the
I was
4th.
wondering where you're going with this.
I figured you were.
I was like, what am I missing? My brain's going 100 miles an hour.
I figured I was going to surprise you.
But what did I forget?
We picked it out together.
Yes, we did.
And I haven't had a bath since October the 4th.
You've had showers.
I've had showers, fortunately.
You've had plenty of showers.
But I'm
no
a bath girl.
Right. You like especially the soaking bath.
I like the bath.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm just, you work hard and you just need to sit down and get all that grime off of you. And my mama's a bath girl. Marycarl's a bath girl. Jason even enjoys a bath from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
So we picked out and ordered a bathtub.
We did.
It is on the way. Do you know it has been shipped?
Yes, what you told me, and you asked me. You were like, because we're trying to figure out, how we want to do the inside the house, and I've got it in my mind that this is a barn. This is a barnuminium. We're out in the country. It looks like a barn, so I'm going for that old farmhouse and even maybe modern farmhouse look, rustic, old on the inside. It can even be rusty. It can be whatever, but that's what I'm going for. And so you asked me, what kind of tub do you think we can get? And without even blinking, I told you what I wanted, and that was a clawfoot tub. And we actually got an old clawfoot tub, but it would need to be restored. Need a lot of work. It weighs,
and it's not big.
And of course those things are cast iron, and they weigh, they're just heavy and hard to fool with. And so I had my mind on us maybe redoing that one at some point, but now you can buy these acrylic clawfoot tubs that look like real original clawfoot tubs, and they're acrylic, so they're weigh half of what they normally weigh. You don't have to worry about the paint chipping on them, the cast iron messing up, rusting through, or any of that. So
should I try to show a picture or not? Some people say
that they can't
you
see
can
it.
Quit showing pictures because we can't see it, and that makes me want to not show the picture.
Yeah.
But I want to show it so bad because I love it.
We did get a clawfoot tub, and I just love the clawfoot tubs. I just do love them.
We ordered a faucet too.
The faucet is antique too. It all come from the same company. Or I say antique. It looks antique.
It looks like an old telephone to me.
It's because it's got the sprayer that comes off. It's what's it called? Rubbed oil.
Oil rub bronze.
Oil rub bronze is the color of it. And I tell you what.
See if you can. Will that show? Will it go like that?
Nah, let's just do this. Let's do this. I tell you what we'll do. We'll screenshot it here. This won't be hard to put in the.
Put in the video?
Put in the video.
We have a bathtub coming on a freight truck to Cog 40 this week.
Right.
And I told Jason that as soon as the plumbing gets done, we're putting the bathtub in and I'm going to take a bath. Because I just feel grungy without taking a bath. I do. I really do. My mom and I were giggling the other night because we said we just wanted to go check into the Holiday Inn just for about 30 minutes or so just to get us a good bath.
That's funny.
And I said, I think there's one off the interstate. So we're saving up our money so
y'all
we
could
can
be regulars.
We can
y'all
go
could be regulars at the Holiday Inn.
And then Marycarl said, this is funny. Marycarl said, do they let you just rent it by the hour? And I was like,
y'all wish.
I don't know about that.
Y'all wish they let you rent it by the hour.
I don't know about
that's
that,
funny.
Marycarl. But I am so excited about the bathtub. I just feel like things are coming along.
Yep. Next up is the shower. We looked today at showers.
We did.
We kind of got a better idea of what we want to do with a shower. We thought about. You see these fancy tile showers and just elaborate tile showers, and they're a lot of work and
a lot to clean,
and the grout,
and we're nasty.
Well, we just redid our bathroom at Little Cog,
and that made me
and
sick.
did a fancy tile shower that we did ourselves in there, and
it was beautiful.
It was beautiful, but I saw a barnuminium that had just your regular fiberglass white insert, but it had black or rubbed oil bronze door with hardware, and it had one of those body washing things. Have y'all seen those things? It's just like a whole setup that comes up and comes around and goes over your head, and it's got jets that spray you all over. It looks cool, and it was black, and it just looked cool, and I was like, man, I don't think we need one of those fancy tile showers. I just don't.
If I cut on those jets and the amount of pressure comes out of it that comes out of water in those ducts, it's going to send me through that
It's
shower.
going to knock the breath out of you.
It sure is.
I'm going to have bruises on
We
you
better
when you
get
get
us
out
a
of the shower.
regulator on it.
Oh, my gracious. But I was like, man, I really like that. And I sent you a picture of it. I was like, I like this shower. I don't think we need all that. I just don't. I think,
I'm with you.
I think once the door's shut and it's going to look pretty because it's going to be all that, the doors now got all these.
Jason, you're
Looks like
drawing
a barn.
something
I
with
know,
all
I'm
this.
talking with my hands, but they look like barn doors now, and,
Yeah.
the hardware is going to be the same color, that dark.
We're just not
bronze and-
fancy people. We're just we just need something to knock the dirt off of us,
Yeah,
and that's easy to clean.
easy to clean.
Easy to clean, and I feel like those acrylic walls
Yeah,
are just easy to clean.
they're easy to clean.
I don't want grout.
I don't want grout either.
I really don't. I mean,
Me neither.
I just functional.
Functional.
That's the bottom line.
I thought about it, and I was like, who? You.
Oh, I think they're beautiful.
They are beautiful.
The tile.
Oh, absolutely beautiful. But I'm like, who's gonna see it?
And then we saw this new thing that
It's not
people
like
are
you're gonna have company come over and
go
they
in
gonna,
your master
Y'all
bathroom.
come on in and check out my shower. I don't. That's just we just simple folks, and I guess that's why I don't know.
That's what I
can
keep
see,
telling myself.
I can see, wanting a pretty kitchen or a pretty den because when you walk in, that's the first thing everybody sees or whatever when they come in your house or you come in your house or whatever. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't know.
Well, you know what I read today?
What's
when
that?
I was trying to find something I'd seen earlier.
Mhm.
So I typed in shower, and it came up that you spend amount of time in the bathroom
Yeah.
that you don't realize.
Really?
Yes,
That you're in there a lot more than you think.
Yes,
Really?
exactly. And so they were saying to make your bathroom just as extravagant as you.
Now you're making
Like
me
it.
feel bad about that now.
No.
Because we ain't fancy like Applebee's.
I just don't like all that. I just want it to be simple because I'm the one that's going to be doing the cleaning,
I guess that's right.
and I need to be able to clean it easy.
Well, we'll say this. I will say this. We are going to have something special in the bathroom per my request.
Oh, gracious. And I think this is utterly ridiculous.
And it's going to help. In the long run, I guess it's going to help with you cleaning.
I guess it is because me and Marycarl, we go in the camper bathroom and we're like, men are just gross. I'm sorry.
We've got a urinal. I'm going to put a stand-up urinal in the master bathroom. And I think that's just a brilliant idea.
The architect was like, it'll cost you all of about $100 to get a urinal
Yeah, they're
installed.
not expensive. Well, who knows now with COVID, but typically they're like
I'll
in
get
between
you a
$100 to
bucket.
$300 for give me a bucket.
With a drain in the bottom.
We can get those. They got them bucket holders that for your cows and stuff that you put on the post and hold your bucket.
Yeah.
We could get one of those and put on the wall and put the bucket on the wall.
Nope, because the drain won't be installed. And I am not emptying a urinal. I will not.
Oh me.
I will not do it,
Oh,
Jason.
but I am happy about the urinal. I think that's gonna be just gonna be so simple.
Yeah, because I'm going to have your cleaning supplies right beside your
Right there
urinal.
beside it. You don't have to worry about me forgetting to put the lid down anymore. If my aim ain't quite right sometimes. So, I mean, boom, right there, urinal. I guarantee if there's a men listening to this podcast, they thinking, they giving me a high five right now.
But we might need to put a wall in between the toilet and the urinal. A
One of
little
them-
half wall.
One of those little stalls.
Well, like a gas station or something, so I can't see your mess. You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about.
Or like in a school,
Yeah.
I probably could get one at a yard sale or something. Well, I don't know about a yard sale, but
I don't know about a yard sale.
Craigslist maybe.
Maybe Craigslist.
Get you a half wall to cover you up.
Well, I'm excited
So-
about the urinal.
So we haven't heard anything about our trusses or anything about the
Yes.
building, and we haven't asked because we know that our guy that's going to be doing our building, Brant, is
Mm-hmm.
doing everything he can.
That's right.
And therefore, it's out of his hands. And
That's
some
right.
of y'all might say, you need to be bugging him. You need to be asking him. There's no point. It's out of his hands.
Yep.
He would be here. I can
trust
promise
me.
you. He would be here.
He wants to get paid.
He wants to get paid, and he would be here if his materials were here.
Right.
Yesterday, he messaged you, and he was so apologetic.
Very
because
apologetic.
The trusses still aren't here.
They're not here. And they're supposed to be here mid-December. Still not here. 1st of January, still not here. So we're going into mid-January now. He's calling the place the trusses were ordered from quite regularly. And so he's hoping this month. And he's going to possibly put the poles in. Because he said wood's starting to go back up again.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I think, he just wants us to know that he's doing everything
Right.
he can. And we are in no way expecting him to do anything other than what he's doing.
That's right.
So, we're just hanging out. But we are ordering bathtubs and stuff.
Yeah, because, you were brilliant because it didn't even cross my mind. And
Well, I started
but
thinking
you were
about
thinking
the drain.
the plumber. Yeah, the drain, because it's concrete slab, and it's because if it wasn't concrete slab, it wouldn't matter.
Yeah,
it wouldn't matter at all.
That plumber's going to ask me center drain, left drain, or right
Right
drain.
drain.
And which wall is the faucet going to go on?
That's right.
And I would have no idea.
Mm-mm.
And so, therefore, I want all this stuff, lined
Right.
up before he comes and springs that on me. I'm trying to think ahead.
There's one other thing that I want to look at. When you probably need to look at that. I guess we don't have to order it though. I want one of those. You start building houses, you think of stuff like, a urinal in your bathroom.
You do.
And I want one of those pot.
See.
What do you call it, y'all?
It's a pot filler, but I have
Pot
read
filler.
so many things about pipes leaking in the wall.
Why would it leak in the wall if it's pigs?
I don't know, but they just say that it's not. I don't care about that. I really don't. I just don't.
You don't?
No.
I just think that would be good.
I feel like it's too much trouble.
Have the pot filler, you just got your stove right there.
I am strong and I
you-
can pick my pot
If
up.
you don't know what it is, it's just a water only that folds in and out above your stove.
Most of the time it's hot water.
And you just do it, and it's got one little knob, you cut it on, and you can fill your pots right there at your stove without going to the sink, filling up, and having to pick it up and sit over there.
I have a problem picking up a Dutch oven that's full of water,
I'm going to ask him about it.
but I'm not getting any younger.
I'm going to ask the plumber how big a deal it is about the pot filler.
Wouldn't it be hot water?
I don't know.
That's what I've read is it's hot water
It's hot
only.
water.
Yeah.
Okay.
'Cause
Well,
you're
that
not-
makes sense. You're not going to drink it.
No, and you want to boil if you're putting it
that's
on
right.
the stove.
You want to boil water on it.
So I guess, that's why they're mostly hot water.
Yeah.
But y'all, tell us anything that you have experienced if you've recently built that's helped you.
Yeah.
And things that, we may consider doing, adding.
That's right. Like the pot. If any of you guys have that
pot filler.
yeah, let us know in the comments below if you love it.
Because, see, I'm thinking I don't
Or if
need
you don't
it.
even use it.
But then I'm also thinking that this might be the last house I ever live in. And I got to be thinking,
Yeah.
I'm 99 and I'm filling up that pot
I'm just thinking it's not that big a deal to put it there.
to plumb it in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
That's what
know.
I'm thinking. Nothing to it.
And our cabinet guy texted
He
today.
did.
He texted
He did.
today and he said, I'm just touching base to see how y'all are coming on your building. And we're like, well, we're not coming at all.
We're
but
not. Yeah.
we're not doing anything right now in our
Mm-mm.
building. But I have a feeling it's all going to happen like at one time.
Lord, I hope not.
I think it is. I really do. And I want to be prepared as much as I
Oh
can.
my gracious. Yeah.
So when this tub comes, it's going to go in the storage unit with my windows and my door.
Well, that's what you told me. You're like, well, I need to order, but where are we going to put it? I said, girl, we got a storage
I
unit.
hope we can pick it up.
It's going to be acrylic. I don't think it's going to be much
Why
as
is
you
it
think.
coming freight then?
Because it's such a big box.
And now I'm thinking, well, our appliance is liable to be here any day
But they said they could stay there for a little while.
for a couple of weeks.
I thought he said a couple of months.
Mm-mm. He said I'd like to get them out as soon as they can. We're going to have a house soon.
Might to be renting another storage unit.
Well, they're few and far between,
Yeah, I
so
know.
don't anticipate too much. I had a hard time getting that one, and I'm very proud of it.
I'm very proud of it.
And the pods are still here.
Yeah,
Some
you can
people
see
have
them in every
asked-
video. You can
So I don't know what I'm going to do when those pods aren't there.
I know
that's like a statement of the farm.
I think a lot of people think Pod is paying us to have them in the videos, but they ain't.
They ain't. We paying them to store our stuff in there.
They ain't at all, trust me.
One of them's my mama's and one of them's ours.
They need to be paying us all that advertisement.
They sure do. That is a lot of advertisement,
It's a
isn't
lot
it?
of advertisement. Maybe I ought to get a tarp and put over the name.
That's a good idea, because that's what they would do.
That's what we ought to do.
So-
I would say blur it out. That's too much trouble for me having to go and edit and blur all that out all the time.
Ain't nothing too much trouble for you when it comes to editing.
It would be. That'd be a pain.
You know what
The
I
tarp
gotta
would
do?
be a pain, though. What's that?
I gotta go get a Walmart pickup
Tonight?
tonight.
What time is it?
It's getting close.
We're getting close on an hour. Look,
Yeah.
our timer worked.
Some people say that they want to keep talking, and
Longer
I can
now.
keep talking. I don't have any problem talking. So Arlo had a haircut, and I set it up. Is that not what you meant?
Yeah, no, I was like, that's fine.
Oh.
But I was going to say, I thought you were talking about the barn. The guy that's going to start on the barn
Well,
comes
I'm
tomorrow.
coming to that
Okay,
too. So
okay.
it might be another 30 minutes. So if y'all like to listen, just listen up. I'm going to let him talk some
That's
too.
right.
So I scheduled Arlo an appointment to have his haircut, because if y'all have seen him lately, he is a woolly booger.
He is, but he's not that bad. He is a schnauzer.
No, he's not bad. He just, we try to keep it maintained
Yeah.
because we're living on a farm, and he gets stuff in his hair. So,
And, we tried to do the schnauzer cut forever. We had a little skirt and all that, but out here, y'all, he gets stuff all in it, from chicken mess to stickers and whatnot, and it wasn't working. And so I told you one day, I was like, I just want to just
cut him short.
cut him short. And he don't look like a schnauzer when you cut him short, pretty much.
But he's cute.
And I've seen some people say, "Oh, you ruined him." But he's a farm dog. He ain't no show dog.
He ain't no show
And
dog.
so
We want what's best for him,
what's
too.
best for him? He was just steadily getting stuff all in his hair, and so yeah. So I keep him cut short, and we've been going to a place to get it done, and hadn't. It's been fine. No problems really.
No fine. No fine. No problem. It's a big chain, haircut place, and I make the appointments online, and
Yeah.
it makes it easy because I could get up at midnight and say, "Hey, Arlo needs his haircut. Let's
Right.
see what we're doing next Friday."
Right.
Friday's kind of like our off day.
It is, because I've already done a video. We don't have anything going on Saturday and Sunday, so yeah.
So Friday's kind of our fun day,
It is.
We don't do homeschool on Friday, and then Jason's kind of done editing and everything. So I scheduled it for today, and I did this last week. I said we'd set it for 11:30 today, and that way we could grab us some lunch, and we just aren't real goers. We stay here most of the time, so it's going to be fun to go and do something a little different. So we were going to drop Arlo off to have his haircut, go grab some lunch. I called in an order. Well, I didn't call in. I placed an order online to pick up some stuff to repair the barn.
Yes, the barn and Marycarl's
Aviary.
aviary. That's what she wanted for Christmas, was for me to build her aviary, and so we're getting around to doing that, or her birthday.
Yeah.
And so we're going to start on that as well. So we got some materials to do that, and the guy what he needed to start on the barn.
Yeah. He gave
Yep.
us a list last Saturday as to what he needed. So this Friday, we plan to drop Arlo off, get his haircut, get some lunch, pick the Lowe's up, order up. We did it online, so we wouldn't have to go in and be exposed to a bunch of people and stuff, and it was just easy. And I go in, and I take Arlo, and I leave him, and they said, "Did you bring his vaccination records?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "What? Vaccination records?" And they said, "Yeah. The one we have is December the 26th is the last date on it." I said, "Well, I didn't know anything. I was supposed to bring anything with me. I always book it online, and I've never had to bring anything." They said, "Yeah, have you had his vaccination?" I said, "Well, of course I've had his vaccinations. My vet is such and such," and I blurted out the phone number. I know it off the top of my head. And so the lady at the groomer, she picked up the phone and she called him. Of course it's busy. It's an awesome clinic and an awesome veterinarian,
It
but
is.
they stay busy.
Right.
So if you call, that phone's going to be busy.
Most of the
And
time.
they have started closing at 12 on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Well, his appointment was 11:30. Of course, I was there at 11:10, trying to be there on time and have something done ahead of time. And they kept calling them and kept calling them and kept calling them, and nobody would answer because they were busy. And finally, they said, would you like to reschedule his appointment?
Mm-hmm.
And I just looked at her and I said, no, ma'am. I said, we had, scheduled to have him have his hair cut, and we were going to go have lunch, and it just isn't convenient for me to come back.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyways, long story short, they wouldn't cut his hair without his vaccination. And they said, do you have anybody at home that could send you a picture of his vaccination certificate? And I said, no, ma'am. My husband and my daughter are with me. They're sitting out, waiting on me. And I thought to myself, besides that, we probably wouldn't be able to find it because we're living in a camper right now.
That's right. It asks you when you book it online or they update on shots, but you have an account.
Yeah.
So you got your username and password. They know your dog, know how many times. They know everything about you. You would think that when you booked it online, it would say, hey, our records show that your rabies or whatever ended on such and such date. You need to bring an updated copy.
Well, it just asked me, are his shots up to date? And I clicked yes.
So that was to me, that's what was so frustrating, that I don't know, it just the system, I don't know, they may need to look into that.
Else they could do? They
What's
could
that?
not let you book the appointment unless you
That's what I'm saying.
fixed it.
Exactly. Well,
But-
I need to show Arlo more in the videos. People ask about him all the time. And
Well, what usually happens is Greg's coming in.
yes.
And we don't want anything to happen and him get out of our vision when we're feeding.
Mm-hmm.
So
He does run, but he don't like run off into the woods or anything. But he does. Let me tell y'all what he does. He goes to each paddock because he can go up under the gates. So he'll run and he goes to. First thing he does, he plays with Tucker. Him and Tucker play like two puppies.
Yep.
Tucker loves Arlo.
Yep. And Arlo loves
You
Tucker.
should have seen them this morning. They were going around and around and around the green stalks, just round and around, and then Tucker jumped up on the picnic table, and Arlo had no idea Tucker was. And Arlo kind of snuck up, and Tucker went and just, boom, popped him right there, and they just took off again. So they play so hard. And then next thing I know, Arlo, he goes and visits the chickens. Then he comes out, then he goes and visits the goats. And then he comes out, and then he goes to, and they were Nugget and the geese. So then they come out, and then they go visit, visits Moody and them.
Does he go in there with
He
him?
goes in there with them.
Oh, my gracious.
Arlo
That's
goes,
funny.
and he don't stay long, but he will go in there. Now, if I go in there, he's going to go in there and stay as long as I'm in there. But he hits almost every paddock.
That's funny.
So he,
And our two other little dogs, we pick them up and carry
Yes.
them from the camper to the little dog kennel area that we have set up because both of them would be gone in a flash.
well,
Dixie can't run too fast.
yeah,
but-
Dixie's a chunky monkey, so she wouldn't.
But she would chase Tucker.
Dixie likes to chase the cats
Now,
and the chickens.
Gidget, she
and,
would not do anything, but she would run
She
like
would
the
just
wind.
run like the wind.
And Gidget's like, catch me if you can. She
Yeah,
just like
yeah.
teases you.
She's wide open. It's a Pomeranian. She's wide open. And there's a lot of people, because, I guess I give the impression that I don't like Gidget. I love Gidget. Me and her
Well,
sit on the couch together and love. I don't like Gidget's yapping. When she's in the camper, she's a perfectly great dog. Outside the camper, she barks all the time, and it's really frustrating when I'm videoing.
Oh yes, sometimes I have to go get her and put her inside if she gets to barking.
Yes.
If she can see me,
She barks.
she
nonstop.
barks because it's almost like, "Hey, Mama, look at me, look at me, look at me."
I keep thinking she's got to go horse at some point, but she never goes horse. Never.
She doesn't. She just
Never.
and the other two, meaning Arlo and Dixie, they're just sitting there like,
They don't bark that often.
I wish she'd be quiet.
If they bark, it's usually something legit.
better go look.
You better go look. But Gidget's going to bark
hear
at a
her
leaf
barking
falling. I
right
do.
now.
I hear she barking. She hears the big dogs barking.
She's quite a talent.
She is.
But you do love her because I peeked at you the other night and you were holding her upside down, rubbing on her.
I do. She's a sweet, sweet puppy. Just when they barking,
It does.
The
It
barking.
gets aggravating. But
because it's nonsense, and then you can't stop it.
you can tell her to hush, and she looks like, okay, I will for 5 seconds. I'm back.
Oh, my gracious. Oh,
Let's see.
Gidget.
What is today? Friday, Saturday. So
Yeah.
we'll have another one next week on Tuesday. Am I
Yeah,
right?
try going to do it Tuesdays.
Okay. So I am hoping Tuesday.
Tuesday and Saturday.
I'm hoping Tuesday that we can
Yes.
tell y'all when our trusses will be here.
And in the barn. We'll know something about the barn,
We'll know
too.
more about the
Yes.
barn, and we will. I don't know what else we'll know. Maybe we'll know about a shower by then. I don't really care about the shower because I'm gonna sit in my tub.
But we need it so the plumber will know where to
We
put the
gotta
drain.
have the shower, but I
Yeah.
don't really care about it. It's not my priority.
Right.
It'll just go wherever. I gotta have that tub.
Right, I got you.
But maybe we'll know more about that. I've started looking when we got home,
Yes.
and it's just like a foreign language to
It's
me.
a bunch of them, ain't it?
It's just a lot of choices,
There's a
and
bunch
then
of
you
'em.
start reading reviews, and that's like, uh-oh.
The review section is on anything. If it's like 2 stars, I kind of stay away from it. But
You know, 4s, you really can't tell because you got a handful of people that gave it a 1 star, and then you got a big whopping handful of people that gave it 5
stars,
So
yeah.
you
You
don't
know.
know if those people.
and you don't know how true they are. And a lot of these companies will pay people to give reviews. And then you got people that are just, that'll give a bad review because it rained that day and had nothing to do with it, with the tub. I mean, I've seen them a lot of times, especially on Amazon. If you're looking at something and you want to know the performance of it, and it was like the package was ripped, I give it a 1-star review. What's that? I don't care if the package is ripped.
I really don't have time to sit down and read all the reviews.
Yeah.
When it's got like 3 stars,
Yeah.
if it's 7 reviews, then yeah, you can read them.
Right.
But if it's 337,
Right.
then you just click on the 1 stars because you want to know what their bad was.
Yeah, and that's and then why are you going to do that? Because you're just reading the bad. So you don't know what the good ones are. So
I just wish there was an easy way to buy things
there's
without.
not going to be no easy way.
No, we thought we'd go over there and pick one out while we were doing our pickup today.
Yes, we did.
We thought, well, since we're
And-
all messed up on our time and Arlo didn't get his
Yeah,
haircut.
that's right.
Even though we called in the online order,
Right.
we said we'll mask up and we'll go in here and we'll take
Mhm.
a peek at showers and see if we can't make heads or tails out of them. We found one we liked.
And you looked and it had bad reviews.
I came home and I said, I'm so glad we didn't buy that shower. And Jason said, why? And I said, because it had terrible reviews.
Terrible reviews.
and he was like, oh, really? And
Yeah.
we thought it was the best quality.
Because it was a more expensive one.
Yeah, but,
Yeah.
the door slid easy.
It did. We slid the doors on them all, and that one had the best, smoothest door versus the other one. And I don't know. We liked the shape of it. We liked the shelves in it versus the shelves in the other one. But
Yeah.
you said it didn't have good reviews.
It didn't.
And I was like, what could be wrong with a
Shower.
acrylic shower? I mean, what was
A
it?
lot of it was that the panels were chipped when they got them.
See, that right? What's that? That has nothing to do with the
The product.
product. That
But I
has
guess
to do
they
with
were
the
saying.
shipper. Yeah.
I guess they were saying if it chipped, it wasn't a good product. But anything can break
especially acrylic.
if it's busted hard
Yeah,
enough.
if they drop it or whatever.
But you know what?
You need to get a
Now,
review to UPS, not the company that has the shower.
or I mean, it could have been when the company loaded it. But who knows? You can't pinpoint those kind
Yeah.
of things.
Yeah.
I just try to give good reviews only. I'm just one
Yeah,
of those people that if
that's
I'm
right.
impressed with something, I give it a review. Otherwise, I keep my mouth shut
That's right.
and only tell my close friends and family.
Stay away from it.
Yeah. And y'all should do that too, okay?
The dogs are going nuts.
They
outside
are.
of
And,
this
and I'm hungry.
one. Okay.
So,
Me too.
and I got to eat before I go get my Walmart
There you
pickup.
go.
So,
Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Cogcast podcast. And, well, I guess we'll see y'all on Tuesday.
that's right.
Y'all be good.
Well, 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 it's another one in the books for the Cog Hill 40. Join us again next week for our next edition of the Cog Hill podcast. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.